My stars, I hope you're all well. It is still the 24th of April, but it is now 11:30 in the morning. Let's clear the energy before I even start, because I have just done the reading of who Meghan Markle is reincarnated as. Okay? Have a look at that video just before that. I didn't stick in that energy too long. Have a look at it. Very interesting. But let's just clear and get some lovely, clean energy, because we are going to talk about Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Who was her incarnation? Who could she have been in a previous life? Who could she have been in a previous life? I started digging again. You know, when I started these things, I just go down the history route and I start digging around a little bit. So we're going to start with the first contender, and the first contender is Elizabeth of York, born in 1466 and she died in 1503. She was known as, I'm just referring to my notes here because otherwise I will get my facts muddled up. She was seen as the peacemaker. She was the White Princess, daughter, sister, and wife of kings. She's the one that ended the Wars of the Roses by marrying Henry VII, literally merging the two warring dynasties into one. Okay? She ensured that the Tudor dynasty didn't collapse in its first decade. Then, the next one, you would have remembered this name popping up as well. Catherine of Aragon, 1485 to 1536. She was a resilient queen, and long before great mattered and Henry VIII, Catherine was a brilliant regent and diplomat. She even oversaw the defense of England while the king was away. Okay, she was a master. She was unwavering to her role and her faith, and she had an unmistakable strength. Now, the next one, Henry IV of France, 1553 to 1610. He was known as the Great Connector, known as Good King Henry. He was a leader who actually cared if the common people could afford a chicken in every port. And he bridged that distant gap between the cold aristocracy and everyday citizens. And this is where I found a mirror for me between him and Catherine, our future queen. Then there is the Grand Duchess Elizabeth Feodorna, the servant, Feodornova. So my tongue keeps twisting on that one. And she was a granddaughter of Queen Victoria, and she was renowned for her beauty. And after a tragic loss, she gave her jewels to build a hospital and convents. Okay? And she sort of represents the transition from royal celebrity to royal servant. And then here comes the one that I found very interesting, the parallels that I drew here. And we'll get down to the two candidates in a moment. Drum roll. Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's husband, 1819 to 1861. And he was a visionary. He was an architect. He was the husband of Queen Victoria. Albert was an outsider. And he sort of professionalized the monarchy to keep it relevant during the Industrial Revolution. He was focused on education. See the parallels? Education. He had long-term strategies. And he was in the business of the firm without being in the business of the firm. And he was also a spare to a lineage. So he was sort of the outsider, the outliner. But he still always had to walk 2 steps behind his queen, like Philip did. So I then did my little thing, and I whittled it down to the 2 finalists. And my cards have told me the 2 finalists that we are looking at here will be, take a guess, Elizabeth of York. She's seen as the ancestral mother of the bloodline and the stabilizer. And then Prince Albert is my other one, the modern architect. And his energy and his strategy and him looking towards the future. Excuse me. I'm onto something here. Normally I just start out of the blue like that. I start coughing when I'm onto something. And both of these finalists were consorts in their own right. But let's see who's going to win here. Let's have a look. I'm going to do Elizabeth, ladies first, and then Albert. Also, Elizabeth was born before, and then we have Albert. So have a look. And for this one, I'm going to do 6 cards. Okay? I'm going to do 6 cards for this one, and then we'll see if there's anything, if there needs to be a tiebreaker, or if something isn't clear. Let's have a look here. What have the cards got to tell us? Let's have a look. Oops. Oh, surprising news coming to us. Surprising news coming up. No, this is not going to work. They're clearly telling me they are right, so let's just do one last la la ra ra. Let's do one last la ra 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 and see. A little bit chaotic. Albert could have been a little bit chaotic, but they both grew up in a very chaotic era. Elizabeth of York grew up in a very chaotic era. She had to bring 2 families together. That's what it's telling me. Okay, let's cut. And let's get them all nicely mixed up here. And it's telling me to do this. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's leave that there for now. Let's discover. Elizabeth of York. Let's have a look here. Queen of Pentacles is the High Priestess. Celebrations. Legacy family. 6. Moving on to greater waters. And the illusion. Breaking of illusions. Okay, let's have a look here at Albert. Let's look at Albert. The Magician, the Alchemist, King of Pentacles, masculine energy. If I'm not mistaken, he was a Taurus. I'll just have to double check it. The Chariot, moving forward. The Star. Oops, my sticky have come loose. interesting. Okay, let's have a look here at Elizabeth. Elizabeth of York. Sorry, let me just move this slightly down for you guys. Elizabeth of York. Immediately it's telling me she was the mother. She was the queen. She was the nurturer. She was the one that held and brought people together. She also was the keeper of secrets. She was the one that made a contract. She had the intuition to marry. And there's a celebration, the wedding, the celebration of bringing the legacy families together so that they can move on to calmer water and calmer times and get rid of all this fighting and all the illusion that there was always between the two. She was the one that brought it all together. Look at the moons and the moons underneath. They're mirroring each other. Now let's look at Albert here. Albert, the magician, he had every tool available to him on the table to create, to manifest. And look at the 8 here, the continuation. As above, as below. Look at him pointing to as above, as below. Where none of these do that. That's actually very interesting. Is he telling me to look at the card below and the card above? Okay, sorry, I'm just getting sidetracked here in my own mind. Sometimes it's just these downloads that come through, guys, and it just sometimes just, yeah, works that way. The magician, okay, this is the King of Pentacles. And how many times has the King of Pentacles come up in readings of late? And I say to you guys, it is not William's archetype, but he is going to be a king of wealth, a king of influence. Okay? And I think this is telling me that that is the energy of Albert that is coming through here, because he had the affluence, he had everything. He was the builder, okay, of things. Master of a craft, the 8 of Pentacles. Catherine is a master of her craft. Albert moved things forward. He was behind the scenes with a lot of laws and legislations and getting things pushed through Parliament behind the scenes. He was the driving force. He was the driving force behind the Queen. This star, it's time for hope and healing. The feminine energy. And this is a Diana card, but we're not talking about Diana here. But is this the legacy of Diana? That these paths had to be crossed. And this is the continuation and the beginning of new cycles, the birth of something new. Bringing a royal and a commoner together in this life, a commoner who was a royal in the previous life, to bring it full circle. To bring it a full circle. Let's have a look and see underlying before I make balance. She had to restore balance, and that was Elizabeth of York that restored balance. The Empress, here we go. The future. She brought happiness to the family, the two family unions. That is the 2 of Cups. Leading out of poverty. Defending against the indefensible. Breaking of that cycle. Yes, okay. Let's quickly have a look here at Elizabeth. Elizabeth here. She brought balance. She brought the balance between the two families. She brought the balance between the two families. That's correct. Happiness in families. To break that and lead and prevent poverty. Bring to the inside. Everybody's not on the inside. Okay? Then here, this card tells me everything. This card tells me everything, this Empress card. And the 2 of Cups. Look at the male and the female energy here. Passing on a legacy of the crown through that, even though they were outsiders. And it is to defend the indefensible. And a decision was made. So my call in this reading, guys and ladies, I don't know why I keep saying guys, I don't know why, because I know I've got more lady viewers than men viewers, but that's just me. My stars, let me know in the comments what you think. But from what I see here, and where the Empress card fell on Albert's side, the new beginnings, new cycles, with the William card in here as well as the union of, and the decision here, and constantly defending what is indefensible. Cards, give me one question here, just quickly. One card. Albert, yes. Albert, yes. Albert, Catherine as Albert, yes. I mean, what's going on? Catherine as Albert, yes. Yes. Ten of Wands upright is yes for me, but it's a hard slog. It's a hard slog. It's hard work. It's all the attacks that they've had. It's all the attacks that they've had. All the attacks that they've had coming towards them. Look at all the attacks. They're constantly being judged. A chance of a new beginning. Looking to, what did I say with this star card? Looking towards the future. And the betrayal. And breaking old cycles. Untying them from the bonds of the past. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely. Albert, Prince Albert and Catherine, according to my cards and my sources and my guides and what they said to me here, is that Princess Catherine was Prince Albert in a previous life. You see how it can jump genders? Will this karmic cycle, I don't know why I'm asking it, because the World card came up. Will the karmic cycle be fixed? Will this karmic cycle be fixed? Haha! Yes! I was too scared to turn it. Yes! There you go. There you go. Yes, 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 yes. Celebration. But it might be manic. Leaving the past behind. Breaking free. Letting go secrets. They're there to bring a time moment. New seeds to be planted. And the union. But yes, there has been some tears about the bullying. Yes, my dear stars, Prince Albert and Catherine are breaking whatever karmic there was in the past by this union between Catherine and William. And there we go. And now you guys probably want to know, who was William in a previous life? I'm going to leave that until next week. I'm not going to do this weekend. There's going to be some other readings over the weekend. But I'll leave Prince William for next week. Let him enjoy the weekend. I'll speak to you soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.